your host, MISHUMA, SABA, M.SABA, and this is our Cultural Variety Podcast. Stay tuned. Peace, 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 peace. And welcome to Coffee Talk Podcast, the Cultural Variety Podcast show. And I am your host, MISHUMA, SABA, M.SABA. And this is our Cultural Variety Podcast. How y'all doing today? How are y'all doing today? Today is October 3rd, y'all. We are in October. And you know what they say? Today was a beautiful day. It was in the 70s. It was nice. But October is very bipolar for my city, for the Twin Cities. We could get hit with snow any day. You know what I'm saying? So that leads me into what the flavor is going to be about today. But hey, before we get started, man, if you don't know, we are Coffee Talk Podcast, a cultural variety podcast show, and we appear 3 days a week. We do alternate Sunday, Mondays, which is our cultural studies night. Wednesdays is our sports edition, and then Friday and Saturdays is our grown folks night, which is laughter, humor, 10-question Q&A, and we also have guests appear on Friday and Saturday night. So whatever day fits you, that's the day you may want to log in. And if you're a true fan, you may want to catch us 3 days a week, man. We always want to give you the flavor, you know what I'm saying, here at Coffee Talk Podcast. But I want to say this. I'm happy to be here, first of all. Very happy to be here, man. It's been a crazy last 48 hours for me. I was struck with a little sickness, man. Nothing serious, but it did hit me for 24 hours, and now I'm on the road to recovery. I'm feeling good, man. On a scale of 1 through 10, I'm about a 7.5 to an 8. You know, I've been eating homemade chicken noodle soup at that. Shout outs to my lady for putting that together. Big ass pot too. So I've been on that, you know, that chicken noodle soup, homemade. And you know, I'm just trying to get better, man, so I can continue to give y'all this show. So thank you for being here. Let me know how y'all's day is. Go ahead and leave a comment, hit the like button, and you know, let's go ahead and jump right in. So listen, tonight's flavor, or hold on, let me pause for a second because we always get new viewers. But if this is your first time viewing our show, we never start the show without giving it its flavor. We also never start the show without giving it its wise words for today. So today's flavor is real simple, man. We just gonna call it medicine, man. If you feeling uneasy, stuffy nose, or whatever you may be going through, make sure you get you some medicine. Make sure you grab you some Pedialyte, definitely some Pedialyte, so you can replenish your electrolytes. Don't be running around here thinking Pedialyte is just for kids. No, it's to go ahead and help you build your electrolytes back up. So definitely grab you some Pedialyte. And you know me, I don't drink much soda, but I had to grab me one of these today just to give me a little bit of a boost. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that is. So today's flavor is medicine, man. Grab you whatever you need to make sure that you can get through the rest of the week. And also, let's go ahead and start with our wise words for tonight. All right. Tonight's wise words is from a man that's had 4 great books. He was a comedian, actor, pioneer, philanthropist. He gave his all to our culture. And I want to say we did use one of his wise words or one of his quotes before on Wise Words here at Coffee Talk Podcast, and we're back again because he was such an inspiration. You know what I'm saying? So this is no other than the great Dick Gregory. Dick Gregory's wise words. If you don't know Dick Gregory has 4 books that he published. One of them was called The Callous on My Soul. The other one was called Defining Moments in History, Reading Between The Lies. He also wrote the popular book Nigga, and he also wrote a book called Dick Gregory's Natural Diet for Folks Who Eat and Cooking with Mother Nature. So those are the 4 books that he wrote. But Dick Gregory left these wise words. Dick Gregory said this, and I'm only bringing this quote up because we are in an election period, and I think that this fits the right occasion, being that it's the election time. But Dick Gregory says, political promises are much like marriage vows. They are made at the beginning of the relationship between candidate and voter, but are quickly forgotten. I'll say that again. Dick Gregory's wise words is political promises are much like marriage vows. They are made at the beginning of the relationship between candidate and voter, but are quickly forgotten. And that is the wise words of Mr. Dick Gregory. All right, so tonight we're going to go ahead and dive in, and we're going to talk about a beautiful woman that does not get the recognition that she deserves. This woman has not been mentioned much in the civil rights movement, and I wonder why. And you viewers, if you wonder why as well, go ahead and leave a comment as to what your thoughts could be on that. Definitely hit the like button, share the video, but let us know what you think. But tonight we're going to go ahead and celebrate and tip our hat, give a shout out, salute, provide roses to Miss Claudette Colvin. Miss Claudette Colvin. Now, Miss Claudette Colvin was an American pioneer in the 1950s civil rights movement. She also served as a nurse aide from 1969 to 2004. She was arrested at age 15 in Montgomery, Alabama, for refusing to give up her seat to a white woman on a crowded, segregated bus. Now, this was 9 months before Rosa Parks incident, March 2nd, 1955. And we want to go ahead and applaud Miss Claudette because you are a hero to us. You are a queen that deserves to be honored. And that's what we want to do here at Coffee Talk Podcast, is definitely show you our love, and it's sad to me that many perceive that Claudette, being darker skinned and pregnant at that age, was overlooked. And so Rosa Parks was put in her position in the civil rights movement. And so that really makes me question, well, who controls the movement? It makes me think of Black Lives Matter in a way, where we all know that Black Lives Matter is funded by George Soros, and they ain't really for us at all. And it just makes me think, well, damn, how long has this been going on? Is there a bourgeois sector that has dictated our history and have left a lot of elements out, left a lot of people out? You go ahead and let me know. But how dare we pass up a woman, Miss Claudette Colvin, who went through the same thing as Miss Rosa Parks 9 months before Rosa Parks went through that same incident in Montgomery, Alabama. What is your thoughts on this? It says here in the upper right corner, as we show her picture, it says nearly 9 months before Rosa Parks would become famous for refusing to give up her bus seat, 15-year-old Claudette Colvin was arrested on March 2nd, 1955 in Montgomery, Alabama, for refusing to surrender her seat and move to the back of the bus she was riding on. She became one of 4 plaintiffs in the Browder versus Gale court case, which ruled that Montgomery's segregated bus system was unconstitutional. What is your thoughts on that? Let me know what your thoughts are on Miss Claudette COVIN. And this is what she looked more recent versus, what happened back then. Again, Miss Claudette COVIN, she loved people. She loved being a steward. She loved helping people. And as you can see, she was a nurse aide from 1969 to 2004. And here at Coffee Talk Podcast, we just want to say thank you. Thank you, Miss COVIN, for being an inspiration. Thank you, Miss COVIN, for being a pioneer. We salute you, Queen. Thank you. All right. Next, we want to go ahead and talk about one of my heroes. Should be one of yours as well. Have you heard of Lone Ranger? Well, this is where they got that story from. Tonight, we're going to go ahead and talk about Bass Reeves. I did a show about maybe a month ago where I called him Bill Bass, but it's Bass Reeves, one of an American cowboy, a black cowboy, a brother that was, an inspiration, man, a pioneer, man. Bass Reeves was one in 4 American cowboys that was black. Many slaves had herded cattle during the 17th and 18th century, so they were used to being around cattle and horses and all that, especially part of that coming from the western parts of Africa as well. And you have to wonder, why don't, Hollywood give his props to Mr. Bass Reeves? I believe that because the cowboy narrative is controlled by those that don't want to see or acknowledge our heroes. And I say this, when it comes to, some people, we argue over these American holidays. Some people want to take their kids out for Halloween and all that, which is at the end of the month. I'm not one that really cares for Halloween. I did celebrate it when I was a young kid. I would go out a little bit, but I never really put on those scary demon costumes or nothing. I wouldn't even recommend that for families. But if you did want to think of a character, if you're going to take your young child to a little kid's a Halloween party or whatnot, why not as Bass Reeves? Watching Coffee Talk podcast here, you could definitely tell them who Bass Reeves was. Again, he was 1 in 4 of American black cowboys. And what's notable is he is one of 3 famous black cowboys in our history, that being Bill Bass, the other one being Ned Huddleston, and also William Bill Pickett. What I say that is, if you're writing an essay this week or at the end of this quarter, make sure that you think about writing about some of your heroes like like Bass Reeves. So that's what we want to do today. We want to go ahead and give a shout out to Bass Reeves, a pioneer, 17th, 18th century, and someone that Hollywood does not want to recognize unless they put him in whiteface, and that's unfortunate. But if you do want to study a little bit more about Bass Reeves, there's a lot of books out there that you can go ahead and check out. I would recommend that you go ahead and do and share this story and continue to share this story. You know what I'm saying? Now, before we get ready to go here at Coffee Talk Podcast, we want to leave you with our story. So we're going to go ahead and talk about, also being that it is the election time, November 5th. We're going to go back in time. We're going to talk about November 5th, 1968. Let's begin. It was November 5th, 1968. A record number of black congressmen and the first black woman representative was elected to Congress. The 9 black congressmen and Senator Edward W. Brooke toppled the previous high of 8 in the 44th Congress of 1875 through 77. The first black woman representative, Shirley Chisholm of the Bedford side, excuse me, the Bedford-Stuy section of Brooklyn defeated former Corps Director James Farmer in New York's 12th Congressional District. On the same day, Harlem voters defied congressional critics and re-elected Adam Clayton Powell Jr. In addition to Powell, the former incumbents were re-elected as well, and that was William L. Dawson out of Illinois, Charles C. Diggs out of Michigan, Augusta Hawkins out of California, Robert N.C. Nix out of Pennsylvania, John Conyers out of Michigan, and was elected to Congress for the first time were Miss Shirley Chisholm and Louis Stokes out of Ohio, and William L. Clay out of Missouri. This was your congressional representatives of November 5th, 1968. Other than that, how are y'all doing this evening? What I would recommend is that make sure that y'all are being sucker free out there. Make sure that you are avoiding all negative energy, and make sure that each and every day you're trying to learn something about your culture. It's very important that if you learn about your past, you kind of can direct where your future's headed. You know what I'm saying? We are great people, and it's very important that you share that knowledge and tradition to others. This is Coffee Talk Podcast, and this is our show for the evening. I am your host, MISHUMA SABA, M. SABA, and this is our Cultural Variety Podcast show. I'm going to go ahead and hit you with the universal peace sign. And until Wednesday, I'll see y'all again. Peace.